Listen up, folks. There is a massive misconception echoing around local gun shops right now. Most shooters take one glance at a traditional lever-action rifle, and they immediately write it off as an outdated brush gun. They assume it simply cannot hang with a modern bolt gun or an AR platform when it comes to surgical precision. Let me stop you right there. That line of thinking belongs in the past. I have spent countless hours dragging these platforms through the mud, running them on the clock, and printing groups on paper. The hardware we are looking at today will absolutely shatter your preconceived notions about what a lever action can do. Before you pull out your wallet for another standard hunting rig, you need to see the evolution of this classic operating system. Our number one spot is going to blow your mind. Let's step out on the range and break down the top modern lever guns that deliver serious ballistic supremacy. Number 5. The Smith & Wesson Model 1854. When the engineers at Smith & Wesson decided to jump back into the lever-action arena, they did not just dip their toes in the water. They did a cannonball right into the deep end. The Model 1854 completely redefines the factory standard. We are seeing production features here that normally require an expensive custom gunsmith. While they offer chamberings from the .357 Magnum all the way up to the shoulder-bruising .45-70 Government, we are focusing on the iconic .30-30 Winchester today. This rifle rocks a 20-inch cold hammer-forged barrel. Looking down that bore, you will find a 1-in-10 right-hand twist featuring 6-groove rifling. It is perfectly tuned to stabilize modern hunting projectiles. Tipping the scales at an even 7 pounds empty, this rifle handles like an absolute dream. In my experience, it offers the perfect center of gravity for snapping onto a moving target deep in the timber. Let's crack open the action. You are looking at a forged .416 stainless steel receiver. They integrated an external hammer and a heavy-duty crossbolt safety. The operating system utilizes a classic toggle link mechanism. I can tell you from years of running these, that design eats heavy recoil and keeps on ticking. You get 6+1 rounds of .30-30 Winchester ready to rock. It runs a standard tubular magazine, but thankfully, they included a side-loading gate. That means you can keep your weapon topped off without ever dropping the rifle from your shoulder. Here is the kicker. The muzzle comes factory threaded at 5/8 by 24. Throwing a suppressor or a recoil brake on a lever gun right out of the box is incredibly rare at this price point. Out on the firing line, feeding it Hornady lever evolution ammo, shooters are printing 2-inch groups at 50 yards. Doing the ballistic math, that is sitting right around 4 MOA. Now, understand what this tool is built for. It is not a bench rest precision rifle, but for dropping a whitetail inside 150 yards, it is absolutely devastating. You can grab it with synthetic furniture to fight off the rain and snow, or stick with the classic wood if you appreciate the traditional aesthetic. If you want modern modularity on a legacy platform, this is your huckleberry. Just respect its 200-yard working limit. Number 4. The Henry Big Boy Steel Carbine. How do you engineer a carbine that carries like a feather but hits like a sledgehammer? Henry found the exact recipe with our number 4 pick. Enter the Henry Big Boy Steel Carbine, specifically the variant chambered in .357 Magnum. This is a purpose-built machine for the shooter who demands the rock-solid durability of a steel frame, but refuses to lug around a heavy, oversized rifle all day. The barrel is chopped down to a highly maneuverable 16.5 inches. I love this length. It is the absolute sweet spot for bailing out of a pickup truck or pushing through heavy brush, and you still maintain excellent muzzle velocity. That round steel barrel utilizes an aggressive 1-in-4 twist rate. That geometry is uniquely optimized to stabilize heavy .357 Magnum bullets in flight. Unloaded, this handy little carbine weighs an incredibly light 6.59 pounds. It features an oversized large loop lever. If you have ever tried running a standard lever with thick winter hunting gloves on, you know exactly why this is a massive tactical upgrade. Mechanically, this thing is a workhorse. Henry integrated their highly requested side gate loading system alongside the traditional tube load. You get 7+1 rounds of capacity under the barrel. And yes, you can cycle 38 special all day long if you want a low recoil training session. The action relies on an exposed hammer, paired with a rebounding firing pin, and a modern transfer bar safety. Henry's internal carrier system is legendary. I have seen these actions chew through thousands of rounds without a single hiccup. Let's talk performance. Independent range tests prove this carbine can hold a 2.4 to 2.6 MOA standard. That is running premium 158 grain 357 Magnum hollow points from top-tier manufacturers. Considering you are shooting a pistol caliber with a relatively short sight radius, that accuracy is downright impressive. Your ethical kill zone on deer-sized game is a solid 100 yards. However, if you know your holdovers and run hot Magnum loads, you can definitely stretch its legs a bit further. Yes, chopping the barrel means you lose about 100 to 150 feet per second compared to a full-length 20-inch gun. But trust me, the lightning-fast handling and almost non-existent recoil completely make up for that slight drop in speed. Keep your engagements inside 150 yards, and this carbine will never let you down. Number 3. The Marlin 1895 Dark Series. Sometimes you need a rifle that thrives in the absolute worst conditions imaginable. The Marlin 1895 Dark Series takes the legendary, bone-crushing power of the 4570 government and injects it with a massive dose of modern tactical utility. Do not write this off as just a cosmetic upgrade. This is a serious defensive and hunting tool. It is built entirely around the massive 4570 government cartridge. You get a compact 16.17-inch barrel featuring a 1 in 20 twist rate and 6-groove rifling. That steel is cold hammer forged, meaning it will easily outlast you, even if you run a ridiculous firing schedule. The muzzle is threaded at 11/16 by 24. It is begging for a heavy-duty silencer or a massive muzzle brake to tame that recoil. The factory spec sheet claims 7 pounds, but most of the models we put on the scale weigh in closer to 6 pounds and 13 ounces. The stock is where things get really interesting. It is a nylon-reinforced polymer, outfitted with M-lock attachment points. You can easily mount a weapon light or a laser. Plus, that synthetic material simply laughs at mud, blood, and freezing rain. Inside the receiver, you have the battle-proven Marlin 1895 action. It features a solid top receiver for easy optic mounting, side ejection, and an incredibly strong 6-lug rotary bolt lockup. You have 5+1 rounds of heavy artillery waiting in the tube. There is a crossbolt safety included. I know the purists hate it on an exposed hammer gun, but it gives you an extra layer of peace of mind when pushing through thick underbrush. On the range, shooting with just the factory iron sights, you can easily punch 5-inch groups at 100 yards. That translates to roughly 5 MOA. But when you throw a quality red dot or a low-power variable optic on that top rail and feed it custom handloads, this rifle transforms. Shooters are reporting sub-3-inch groups at that same distance. That level of precision turns this into a highly capable 200-yard hammer for massive, dangerous game. When you launch a 300-grain projectile, you are dumping over 2,000 foot-pounds of energy right out of the muzzle. If you need to stop a charging grizzly bear, or you want a truck gun that hits like a runaway freight train, this is your weapon system. Number 2. The Marlin 336 Classic. For 3/4 of a century, there has been one specific rifle that defines what an American lever action should be. The Marlin 336 Classic in 30-30 Winchester is an absolute icon. Now that Ruger has taken over the manufacturing process, the quality control on these new production models is absolutely phenomenal. They finally did this legendary platform justice. The barrel sits at a beautifully balanced 20.25 inches. It features a 1 in 12 right-hand twist with 6-groove rifling. Again, we are looking at cold hammer-forged steel for repeatable, long-lasting precision. It weighs precisely 7.5 pounds empty. In my experience, that gives you enough mass to hold steady for an offhand shot, but it will not break your back when you are hiking up a ridge all day. The furniture is crafted from gorgeous American black walnut. It features sharp-cut checkering and a traditional carbine butt plate that mounts to the shoulder perfectly. Mechanically, this is the solid top, side-ejecting action that made Marlin famous. Because it ejects to the side, you can mount your scope directly down on the deck, right over the bore axis. It also allows you to quickly toss a single round into the open chamber in an emergency. They utilize a specialized two-piece firing pin. This acts as an internal drop safety, preventing the rifle from going off if it takes a hard impact directly on the hammer. You get 6+1 rounds of 30-30 Winchester feeding from a tubular magazine that is stacked up more venison than almost any other design in history. When we look at the accuracy data, this rifle truly shines. Testing shows this new classic model is printing incredibly tight 1.627-inch groups at 100 yards. That is roughly 1.6 MOA. For a traditional lever gun, that is outstanding. It absolutely loves premium ammunition like Hornady lever, Evolution, and Federal Fusion. Pair this rifle with a good piece of glass, and you have a totally capable 250-yard hunting rig. The ballistics are proven. Sending a 150-grain lever Evolution projectile downrange gives you roughly 2,390 feet per second at the muzzle. That translates to over 1,900 foot-pounds of kinetic energy. The action runs like it is on glass ball bearings. If you want the ultimate traditional woods gun for tagging big bucks, look no further. Number 1. The Browning BLR. We have reached the top of the mountain. The Browning BLR takes every single advantage we have talked about today and packages it into the most technologically advanced lever action on the market. There is zero debate. This rifle earned the crown. Let me break down exactly why. First up is the action itself. This is not a traditional toggle link setup. The BLR runs a brilliant rack and pinion gear system connected to a massive rotating bolt head. When that bolt goes into battery, it locks up exactly like a high-end precision bolt-action rifle. Because of this multi-lug locking system, it can easily handle the insane chamber pressures generated by extreme cartridges, all the way up to the 300 Winchester Magnum. You are getting the ballistic superiority of a Magnum sniper rifle, combined with the lightning-fast cycling speed of a lever gun. Second, we have to talk about the feeding system. This rifle utilizes a detachable box magazine. It holds 4+1 standard cartridges, or 3+1 if you step up to the Magnums. Because the rounds are stacked in a box instead of a tube, you can safely run modern aerodynamic Spitzer bullets. You never have to worry about a pointed tip setting off the primer of the round in front of it under recoil. The caliber selection is massive. You can get this chambered in .223 Remington, .308 Winchester, .30-06 Springfield, .270 Winchester, the highly popular 6.5 Creedmoor, and of course, the 300 Winchester Magnum. Third is the mind-blowing accuracy. Shooters are consistently putting down sub-MOA groups at 100 yards using match-grade ammunition. The barrels range from 20 to 24 inches, featuring flawless button rifling. Browning used an aircraft-grade aluminum receiver to shave off excess weight. But to ensure safety with those high-pressure loads, they integrated a hardened steel barrel insert for the bolt to lock into. If you are running .308 Winchester or .30-06 Springfield, and you have the fundamentals down, this is easily a 400-yard rifle. If you upgrade to the 6.5 Creedmoor or the 300 Winchester Magnum, your effective range stretches out even further across the valley. The Browning BLR refuses to compromise. You get extreme precision, Magnum stopping power, rapid follow-up capability, and stunning visual appeal. It proves once and for all that a lever action can run with the best modern bolt guns on the planet. The evidence is clear, guys. When you take a legacy operating system, re-engineer it to modern tolerances, and feed it premium modern ballistics, you get a devastatingly effective weapon system. I want to hear from you down in the comments. Which of these platforms caught you off guard? Are you surprised by the sheer mechanical accuracy or the insane versatility of these new models? Have you ever taken a lever gun past that 300-yard mark on a hunt? Tell me exactly what rifle and what caliber you used to get it done. Let's get a discussion going. Make sure you tune in for our next video. We are taking some of these platforms out to the extended long-range bays, strapping on high-power optics and seeing just how far we can stretch their legs. Do me a massive favor. If you gained some solid intel from this breakdown, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. It is the best way to help us defeat the algorithm and keep bringing you high-level firearms content. Stay sharp, keep your powder dry, and stay safe out there.